And blessed to be with you in the greatest place to live in America. That is our beloved state of Idaho, the Treasure Valley, Canyon County, Ada County, all counties here in the Gem State. How about that? The President of the United States looked into the purchasing of Greenland. Hey, man, we could have another state. I guess it would be like expanding these college football conferences. We could acquire Puerto Rico and Greenland. Boy, what a diverse group of folks that would be on both ends of the spectrum. And we're just talking about weather-wise, never mind anything else. Apparently that is not going to happen. If you heard the president on Fox News at the top of the hour, you know, he's right when he's talking about it's not the guns that do this. It is the people that do this. And we need to focus in on mental health. You talk to any law enforcement person, and they will tell you we have a mental health crisis in America today. By the way, don't forget the KIDO Talk Radio app, and we're just a couple weeks away from the Spirit of Boise Balloon Classic. Going to be great. Speaking of great, it's always wonderful to hear from you when you join the conversation at 580-5436. 580-KIDO. It's kind of weird. You have one of those nights where you just can't sleep, so you get up an hour early, and then you're fired up and ready to go, and then when it's time to perform, you're thinking to yourself, oh, my goodness gracious. So bear with me this morning. But a friend of mine, now, there was a big concert in town last night, Willie and Billy, some rapper, is that right? Some rap person? Wyclef, who? I don't know. So anyway, so we're going to say this allegedly because I don't have firsthand reports, and we always try to hold ourselves to the highest standards. So there was a concert last night. Where was it at? Taco Bell Arena? Here, Jared, write it down for me, would you, and bring it in. So there was a concert last night, and you remember going to a concert maybe? Maybe for you it was, like in my day, the Guy Lombardo Orchestra. Or you're one of those young people, maybe it was Journey. No, not the guy coming to Sun Valley who was in Journey, replacing Steve Perry, but the real Journey. Perhaps you had a chance to go with the Chick Jeans, the Banana Combs, and the like, right? Maybe you went there, and you had a good time. Okay? Maybe it was seeing Nirvana. Could you imagine seeing Nirvana in its heyday, from Seattle? So apparently, and I'm getting reports on this, multiple reports, that there was a big concert last night at the Idaho Center with Wiz, what is this, Wiz Khalifa? Is that it? Wiz Khalifa? Wizzy? We'll just call him Wizzy. Well, Wizzy was at the Idaho Center last night, and we have firsthand accounts. Now, I wasn't there to see Wizzy or Dizzy or Pizzy or Lizzie or whatever. We'll just leave it at that. We don't want to have any more profanities. But apparently, Wizzy was at the Idaho Center last night, and Wizzy's this big concert rapper guy, 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. No, that's a tune-out factor. So I was talking to a couple people, and they said, Kevin Miller, that place smelled so much like pot last night, I had to leave. And I go, really? It smelled like pot in Idaho. And apparently, allegedly, we have reports of some folks, and again, I want to say allegedly because we want to be responsible here, where you had pot was distributed openly and freely. Some saying, unconfirmed, that it was from the stage. I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't see it. That's why we're saying unconfirmed reports. Now, I doubt that any of you, true believers, God-fearing folks, went to see Wizzy, Pizzy, Slizzy, and Dizzy last night. And maybe you did, and maybe Wizzy, Slizzy, Busy, Pizzy put on a great show. And we hope that they did. But what concerns me, and I believe what law enforcement was there from what I'm hearing, which I'm sure law enforcement was there, you had reports of a stinky smell. Now, it could not, maybe it wasn't pot. Maybe it was body odor, and people were using CBD oil as deodorant. Heck, we know we use CBD oil all the time for everything. The great elixir, the great snake oil, CBD oil. People swear by it. That's great. But somebody said, well, Kevin, this happened. Well, I said, well, I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't see Khalifa, whomever else at this show. I can't say that it was what, but, well, it smelled like pot. The police should have done something. Now, I don't know how you could, if you're a police officer, apprehend people at a show if they're all smoking pot, allegedly. But I will tell you this, that if you go to a sporting event, maybe it's in Seattle, I guess pot's legal in that cesspool. Maybe it's Portland. Gosh knows what's going to happen in Portland. You get the pot smoking. Gosh knows you go anywhere and you get the pot smoking. And really what pot smoking has become, and never mind the legality of it, but if you smoke pot, in my opinion, you are very inconsiderate for the rest of us in America because it stinks. It smells. It's horrific, right? There's a place, we'll just say on the Oregon coast, that you can go to and you can stay there. And maybe it's in Newport, maybe it's in Lincoln City, maybe it's somewhere else, right? Maybe it's in Astoria, Oregon, or Astoria, Washington. And you can go there and you can have a good time. And at one time it was known for families. And then all of a sudden, I go there every year. Well, I go there with Mrs. Miller. She takes me. I thank Mrs. Miller for allowing me to go with her. And, well, she needs a driver. That is correct. So we go to this place. And I can tell you, last year, it started stinking. And I said, no, that's not me, Mrs. Miller. And all of a sudden, you know, you have people smoking pot, and you can't do anything about it because it's legal. Now, remember when we used to complain about cigarette smoke? Remember that? When we used to complain about cigarette smoke? And we used to complain about how bad it was and all that sort of thing? And secondhand smoke and stinky this. And if you kiss someone who smoked, you were kissing an ashtray, you were kissing a chimney. Well, that's people that smoke pot, that's like on growth hormone. And I'm just talking about the smell. Let's go to Jim in Middleton. Jim, did you go to the concert last night?
Actually, Kevin, you know, I didn't.
Good.
But what I heard was the concert was so bad that the band had to distribute the marijuana to all the customers so they'd enjoy the show. Anyway, Kevin, but on a little bit more heavier note, you know, it's very unfortunate. People that regularly intoxicate themselves with drugs, marijuana, and so forth are unhappy people. If you can't be, you know, I enjoy my regular state of mind more than anything else. And I feel sorry for those folks that they call into your show, make excuses. Oh, yeah, I smoke pot and I live a productive life and so forth and what have you. Why would you need to alter yourself to have a good time and not enjoy your family and friends and get all the high you need from there? But anyway, I just wanted to throw that in, Kevin.
And we appreciate that, but we don't even know, you know, again, we're getting these reports. We don't know if it's true. We always want to say unconfirmed because we would never want to slander or malign people. But if this is the case, and even if you're not talking about this, Jim, if you go to places, I can remember years ago going to what do they call it, a Major League Baseball game, and you could smell people smoking pot there. And you're thinking, I guess you really can't enforce it because there are so many people breaking the law. Your thoughts?
Well, Kevin, in regards to the concert last night, you said that there was, and again, allegedly, and my first comment was satire, of course. But if the law enforcement were there, they just ignored it. Okay, they just didn't want to get involved and do what they were supposed to do. You can't arrest everyone. I understand that, but you got to start somewhere. So, anyways,
well, you know what I would have liked to. You know what I would like to have seen. I'd like to see you remember the old paddy wagon?
Yeah,
throw them all in.
Remember that?
Throw them all in.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not legal here in Idaho. Don't pretend that it is because it's legal in other states. It's unfortunate, Kevin. And like I said, I don't get people wanting to go out and get stoned and can enjoy something with the good brains and spirit that good Lord gave us. I'm kind of at a loss there.
Well, there's unfortunately, Jim, a rise in depression. There's a rise in suicide. There's a rise in people taking, pot is compared to fentanyl and heroin and all of these other things on the low end of the spectrum, still very dangerous. But there's a rise in the darkness that, whether it's you, whether it's me, we've got to highlight and try and bring these folks back. And here's
Kevin,
another one.
I agree.
I don't know if I've ever met a happy person that's a dope smoker.
Right. Kevin, let me share something with you, okay?
Sure.
Tough times create strong people. Strong people create tough times. And hold on here, let me get the rest of it. And good times create weak people, and weak people create tough times. You get that?
I do.
Okay, that's where we're at, Kevin. So we're producing these people with no moral compass. Everything is so easy. If they stub their toe, it's a crisis. Now, it's unfortunate, but this is something, Kevin, that I've lived by since I was a youngster. I still do. And we're comfortable folks and what have you, but, and I preach this to my children, don't get too comfortable. Always, maintain a good, strong mental toughness and physical and so forth, because you never know what happens. If you take the good times for granted, you become soft. And these poor kids, they have no moral compass, and the suicide rate and the depression is off the charts. And you brought it up several times, and I'm glad that you've done that. Hopefully that people will be a little bit more aware and identify the problem. And that is lack of morality. I don't like to throw God in everything, but religion is frowned upon and people turn their nose up to that and look at the result of that now.
Jim, great point. Thank you very much.
You bet, Kevin. You have a great day. And when you're doing the rescue mission over at Garrity again?
That'll be the
date,
That'll be the week before Thanksgiving.
Okay, Kevin. Sounds great. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk with you later.
Jim, God bless. Take care, sir.
Thank you.
580-5436, 580-KIDO. So now we're getting a report that the situation in Idaho is becoming so dangerous that the Idaho State Police are encountering so much opioids that officers have been directed not to conduct certain types of roadside tests on substances they believe may be laced with fentanyl. Fentanyl is chemical warfare. So much so that ISP and other officers have to protect themselves from it. We'll talk more about that coming up. But think about this when you're at a public place. And this really doesn't have to come down to the legality of marijuana. Hello to our friends in Ontario. And one day, Ontario, we will liberate you. You are not alone. Mr. Pot Smoker, tear down these walls. Okay. A dated Ronald Reagan reference to Mikhail Gorbachev. But at 580-5436, 580-KIDO, it really comes down to, for years, secondhand smoke. We vilified cigarette smokers. We're close to making cigarettes illegal, vaping illegal, but marijuana legal. Where is the consistency? Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Blessed to be with you, Kevin Miller, in the morning at KIDO Talk Radio. Phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. So still looking for confirmation on this concert that happened at the Idaho Center last night. Maybe your kids, your grandkids went to see the artist that was there. We'll just say Wizzy. We don't know if Wizzy was there. And we're getting reports that the area smelled like pot. and that people were throwing marijuana all over the place. Now, again, these are unconfirmed reports here at 580-5436, 580-KIDO, and there were reports that law enforcement was there. Now, I don't know if they could have arrested everybody. If you grab one pot smoker who is smoking pot illegally, maybe people just go wink, wink, nod, nod. We can't arrest the entire place. But this is how civilizations fall. That is one topic. And again, this other issue concerning just how dangerous drugs are. And I got to give props to some people that are trying their very best to get out the counter information about drugs. On the radio, it's you and it's me. On television, you have some people doing some things, but I don't know if just reporting on a story really makes a difference. And of course, television can advocate for the end of the president. The television can advocate that this program and conservatives and Sean and Glenn and Lars are bad. But does television say you shouldn't be going to Ontario? Does television or even the newspapers that really are a fraction of what they once were? And by the way, my heroes at the newspaper, the people that are delivering them right now listening to this program, God bless you and thank you. And I hope they're paying you what it's worth to make a living. God bless you. Anybody up working this time of day. But we take a look at another major story. A second weed shop is opened in Ontario, Oregon. What does that really mean? Is that newsworthy, or are we just promoting the pot?
We're opening up mines in Minnesota, the great state of Minnesota. They have magnificent mines that have the best iron ore in the world, and President Obama closed them down. Maybe we can get Representative Omar from Minnesota to open it up, but I don't think so. She'll open them up. I don't think so.
Traffic and weather together. Back to your calls. Let's go to Rip. Rip, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Good morning. So I had a thought, Kevin. What do you think about, okay, so you got to go to these pot shops. You don't have to scan your ID in to buy the weed.
What's that?
If you have to scan your ID in to buy the weed, well, if you smoke weed, you can't own a gun. So here pretty soon they're going to have a registry of everybody that smokes pot. And then they can just go in and run your name. If you own a gun, remove your guns from you.
That would not be good.
Just like a red flag law.
Right.
Which,
it's another. Rip, this is a good point, but let me just expand on it for a second. It's fascinating because you have the federal law that they want to get rid of, that pot is illegal. So let's say pot becomes legal. Does that mean that they won't take your guns if you're smoking pot anymore?
Oh, absolutely not. They're going to take your guns.
Yeah.
That's what this is all. That's what this big push is about, I feel. I've been driving truck for 20 years. Hauling hazmat, hauling gas, local. But, I can't smoke pot. I lose my license.
Let me just say this about the demands of driving a truck. How difficult is that? And you guys have the strict drug test, do you not?
Oh, all the time. Continually. I probably get drug tested more than a criminal does that are on probation. So, yeah, they don't play around with us. And I run hazmat, so a double tanker, 65 feet long. They don't want me smoking dope.
What do you say to people that think people should be able to smoke the dope and people should be able to smoke the dope and be on the roads, Rip?
I don't believe they should. It's dangerous. I have to deal with people all day long, and I don't even know if they're high or not. But, they don't. I got to drive for me and them. So I don't want somebody high on the road. It's like I don't want them drunk. I want to go home at night.
Rip, great point. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for doing that job. Appreciate it.
Thank you for what you do. I love your show. Been listening for a long time.
Thank you, Rip. Stop in sometime. Bring the tanker.
Okay, sir.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Now that, my friends, is a hero. Our friend Rip being very honest. Like I said, until you've been in somebody else's shoes, let's save the judgment. However, And in Rip's case, he's on the road, dangerous cargo, gets drug tested more than the crooks. We don't need to enhance the difficulty for guys like Rip, do we not? Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie. Kevin Miller in the morning at KIDO Talk Radio. Phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Appreciate you listening. Don't forget, coming up, it is the Spirit of Boise Balloon Classic. I'm sure you're very excited about that. We're very excited to be bringing that to you along with CapEd Credit Union. They do such a wonderful job. Check them out today. Your money goes farther and supports education at CapEd Credit Union.
The president has reportedly been toying with the idea of buying Greenland. The Wall Street Journal reports President Trump asked his advisors whether the U.S. can acquire the autonomous, ice-covered Danish territory. But the newspaper cites a source who says the president meant it as a joke. Still, it wouldn't be the first time an American leader tried to buy the world's largest island. In 1946, the U.S. offered to buy Greenland from Denmark for $100 million, but the Danish government refused to sell. President Trump is set to visit Denmark next month, although Washington insiders say the trip is just a coincidence. In Washington, Richard Jordan, Fox News.
There we have it. We could buy Greenland and all take a vacation. Liberal Steve joins us now, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Liberal Steve.
Buenos dias, Idaho. Well, Miller, there you go, mouthing off about the pot. You don't know what you're talking about. None of your callers know what they're talking about. They keep on yakking, and it keeps on.
You're telling me that you're telling me the pot people aren't stinky?
I don't know if the pot people are stinky. I've never been around them.
So you've never been around people that have smoked pot. You've never smoked pot. You've never smelled pot. You're pot free.
And for that gentleman that said, "Well, if you use your card to buy pot,
you didn't answer the question.
You can't use your card to buy pot."
Apparently, you didn't answer the question.
Well, of course the question's no. Of course not.
You've never smoked pot in your life.
Well, I didn't inhale.
You've never been around people that have smoked pot in your life.
No, I haven't.
But you are someone who promotes the pot like no other.
When have I promoted pot?
All the time. You wanted to have a pot cruise up and down the Snake River, is that it? Where you were going to be Captain Stubik, and instead of the love boat, it'd be the pot boat?
Call it the Mary Jane.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's an entrepreneurial thing. That's got nothing to do with the use of it.
Okay.
And as far as that guy worrying about his guns being taken, just because you bought something doesn't mean you're using something. In a court of law, that would be thrown out.
Why in the world would you buy pot if you weren't going to smoke it?
To maybe give it to somebody that's sick.
Well, they can buy their own. They can buy their own. They can buy their own pot.
Not if they're too sick. They don't have any money.
Oh, aren't you the humanitarian? Aren't you the humanitarian?
And now the latest report out of Colorado, which has been, by the way, and one of the reasons Canada opened up their country to
God save us from being like Colorado.
But anyway, the report came out on the teens. Less teens are actually using less marijuana since it was legalized in the state in the last 4 years. The first year kind of went up a little.
Now, what does that have to do with people that smoke pot smell?
From what I hear, now I'm just saying from what I hear.
Allegedly,
is that now that they've done everything with pot, know how to do this and do that, and crossbreed and everything else, your pot don't stink anymore.
Well, my point being here is we have a report that the show at the Idaho Center, the smell of weed permeated the air. People were throwing marijuana back and forth as if they were playing with a Nerf football. Law enforcement was there. Again, these are all unconfirmed reports. Did you go to the Wizzy show last night? You seem like a guy that would like the Wizzy.
No, I just hung outside looking for Epstein girls. No, here's the scoop. I went to a concert in Boise. I think it was, when was the last time Bob Dylan played an outdoor concert by the before Walmart was even there, I think, off Garrity. Anyway, he did a concert over there, and it was an outdoor. And I was up close to the stage, and that must have been back when they had the stinky pot, because I got a little high.
You got high from the secondhand smoke.
From the secondhand
right.
smoke.
Who was it?
What,
Jim? What was it when you went to see the Doors at the Idaho Center?
No, Rolling Stones.
Oh.
Rolling Stones. And Mickey's still puffing it. And he just had heart surgery at 76, was it? Anyway, you got to get off that subject because it's a lost cause. It's not going away.
I'm not getting off the subject, but if the laws aren't enforced, what good are the laws? And then we have the Idaho Statesman. You're familiar with that publication, sir?
Yes, I was reading it this morning. You know, they had a nice photo of that new building over there in Ontario that's selling weed.
Right, Burnt River Farm. So, to me, shame, 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 the bell of shame for the Idaho Statesman. They're not reporting the news. They want to keep the people away from the real news. And all they're doing is promoting the Burnt River Farms. Hey, here's another pot store. What is that? That's not newsworthy. And hey, we're going to we modeled it after the buildings in Boise. Oh boy.
Well, if you really want to make a statement, Mr. Miller, you know who the owners of those buildings are, and you know that they're Idahoans. Why don't you put their names out over the air?
I don't know. I know the Weedology people own it, and they're from Idaho.
Why don't you put their names out over the air?
Because I don't know their names, number one.
Oh.
And number two, hold on, and let me be honest, so that is unconfirmed, number one. But number two, I do have a plan, and, you know, my plan is to march into Ontario like William Tecumseh Sherman and liberate the Ontarians as he liberated the South from the South.
You know what the last march you did to your feet?
And my blood pressure.
And your blood pressure. But seriously, it's not going away. In fact, I'll give you a tip right now to all your listeners. Call the Ontario City and the Treasury Department and ask for the names of the people that own those buildings. It's freedom of information, and the Statesman can put it out there.
But we're not, you know, the Statesman has done everything they can to bury us. I don't even know why we mentioned the Statesman. They have an agenda against us, so why should we trust anything from the Statesman? I don't even mention their name.
Bottom line, Miller, it's big money that owns these stores, and that big money wants to own more
here's
stores.
The problem.
You know what?
Here's the problem. And this is why we always say that this program could go away, because we are the tripwire. The Chinese could come in and buy us, and that would be the end of me. The Wilkes brothers, although they are conservative, I might have a chance to keep my job there and keep the show, maybe even expand it, and we go after them. And now the pot people, they have a lot of money. They could come in and buy us, and, again, I'd be at DirecTV going, please, Liberal Steve, don't be a cord cutter.
And they have to pay cash, unless Crapo, and who's that other senator we got? Risch. Short man Risch.
Hey, easy. That's a little sensitive for us.
He is a short man.
I'm a short man.
Well, you're a fatty short man.
I know, that's a double negative, so that should be a positive. A fatty short sounds like a joint.
But you're a human being. You're a child of God.
I am.
Well,
God bless you.
What I'm saying is the bankers are on Crapo and Risch is a multimillionaire. They're on them. They're going to legalize it because the banks are tired of. Where's the money going?
We will hold the line. Hold the line.
They can only pay cash, so where's the money going? And the banks can't take the money.
Well,
so where's the money going?
No bank of mine will take the money.
It's going to buy more pot stores. So let go of that and get on the stuff like fentanyl and opium and meth and speed and all this other crap.
Thank you for that direction. I have to go now.
Oh, okay.
You've had an extended time here this morning. You should be very happy.
if somebody buys you, I'm going to offer them $1 more and buy them out and put you back on.
I appreciate that, Liberal Steve.
You stay fired up.
And what would the show be like? Every time I open the mic, you'd put me in the dunk tank? Is that how that would work?
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah. Take care, sir.
Bye. Stay fired up. Love you.
Love you. All right. Liberal Steve joining us here. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Phone numbers 580-5436. 580-KIDO.
They view everybody as fascist and Nazis. They use the term Nazi. This was a term you couldn't even use it. Now they use it like on a regular basis, a Nazi. He's a Nazi. Think of that. He's a Nazi. You couldn't use it. Now they use it. They accuse our heroic border agents of running concentration camps.
And there we have it. The President of the United States laying the smackdown. We'll talk about it next. Plus, again, we have some publications promoting the weed. Now, I don't know if you can advertise the weed, but they're promoting the weed. Is it really newsworthy that another legalized dope shop is opening up in Ontario? Again, for our friends on the border. See, and again, I love having a logical, rational conversation with you at 580-5436. And I understand sometimes you get heated. I get heated. But that's the point of the discussion, the dialogue, the debate, the dissent. But as we move towards the movement towards legalization, well, didn't we legalize cigarettes? Now all of a sudden we're going to raise the age of buying cigarettes from 18 to 21. And when we talk about being drug-free, and this is what I'd like to hear from you on at 580-5436, is it really possible to keep people off fentanyl, heroin, cocaine, and legalize the dope, the weed, the marijuana, the ganja? Let's talk about it next. Kevin Miller on your home for Hannity, KIDO Talk Radio. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. I just got a message on Facebook. Kevin Miller, I can confirm I went to the Wizzy show last night, and the smell of marijuana was so bad, it hurt my eyes. Why local police didn't do anything, I don't know, Kevin Miller. Can you answer the question? More on that in a minute. Liberty Linda, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Good morning, Kevin. Excuse me. I don't know much about drugs, but I was wondering if Mommy and Daddy Miller was at the big presidential get-together last night.
I believe they are vacationing, and they look, they're so spoiled in New Hampshire. They see all these presidential people all the time. They really do.
Oh.
In fact, one of my mom's regrets is when Donald Trump first was announcing, she let my brother and his wife have like front row tickets. And it's just like, it's so unreal, those primary states. Now, I'm not familiar with Iowa, but I did get my start in New Hampshire. And here's the other thing. You have to be very dedicated to go to these things because you've got to get there 3 or 4 hours before. Security takes you 3 or 4 hours to get in. And they're used to it. They really are. But I know they had talked about going, and I'm pretty sure they didn't.
Wow. Well, I was looking for them, but I did know that your family friend, Mr. Lewandowski, was there.
Yeah, and here's another one. Corey, I think, is a tad younger than I am, and it's been reported that he's going to run for Senate in New Hampshire, which, again, we'll see how that plays out. It doesn't really relate to us in Idaho, but Lewandowski could benefit from Trump being on the ticket.
Absolutely. I think that would be wonderful. And, Kevin, I just wanted to mention that our wonderful President Trump stood there for, 3 hours and talked, something like that.
Yeah.
I couldn't even stand for 3 hours and talk. I think he could have gone on for another 3 hours. I was amazed at how much energy our president has. Anyway, I just wanted to bring out some of those things.
Sure.
What a marvelous person he is. Everything he's done for our country.
Right, but what do you make of But what do you make of what he said concerning guns?
concerning guns. Which part was that? I hope I didn't miss it.
Well, we mentioned it this morning. Are you listening, Liberty Linda, or you just call in to give hugs?
I tuned in exactly right when you started.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, we have such a problem with guns now. And,
well, here I'm gonna play Liberty Linda. Okay, Liberty Linda. Okay, cut Liberty Linda.
Did I get that right?
Let me talk, please. Let's just have a conversation. I know you're excited. I'm going to share this with you.
Okay.
And now the computer's frozen. So back to you.
Uh-oh. I got it right, though, didn't I?
Yeah, he doesn't want the crazy people owning guns.
Yeah, the gun doesn't kill a person. The person does. And we know that.
Right.
You have to be responsible.
Here we go.
Whole gun situation. I do want people to remember, we don't want to see crazy people owning guns, but I also want to remember that mental illness is something nobody wants to talk about. These people are mentally ill, and we have to study that also. Because, it's them. They pull the trigger. The gun doesn't pull the trigger. They pull the trigger. So we have to look very seriously at mental illness, and we're doing that at a level that hasn't been done before.
There you have it. Liberty Linda, I apologize. I've got to run, but I appreciate you.
Okay, we appreciate you. Thank you, Kevin.
You take care now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, you too. Bye.
Man, Liberty Linda was rolling there, Pete. I was a little worried. Good morning.
Hey, Kevin, real quick, what the president said, I think there's a correlation between the number of states that have legalized marijuana and the laxness toward drug use in this country and the mass shootings. You look at the people that are doing this, and I think most of them are on some kind of drugs, and it's because we've said drugs are okay, marijuana's cool.
There is a rise in depression. There is a rise in suicide.
Schizophrenia. Yeah.
The psychotropic drugs.
And marijuana is a psychotropic drug.
Well, here's another one. People need to turn to God and quit making fun of God.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you go back when I was a kid, we had an indoor shooting range in the high school. Kids had brought guns, to go hunting after school. Nobody was doing any of this stuff then.
Well, you didn't have school shootings back in your day.
Nope, that's for sure.
Didn't have them in my day either.
Nope, but we've legalized drugs. We've destroyed the family. We've taken God out of the schools. And now all of a sudden it's the gun owner's fault.
Pete, your thoughts on the weed?
It is a psychotropic drug. There is evidence, scientific evidence in medical studies, it does increase the chances of schizophrenia. And it is not a benign, this is just something that makes you feel good. Heroin apparently makes you feel good too, but that leads to death. And you get people, I also think a number of the increased numbers of traffic accidents going on, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if a lot of those people are like,
Sure.
a little mellowed out or whatever, stoned on their weed.
Sure.
I think it's a serious mistake this country is making.
Pete, I got to run. God bless.
God bless you.
Fox News next. Good morning.